Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of VO in Stereo. As always, I'm your host, Jared Breshers. Along with me and by my side always is
Stephen Coghill.
Today, we have a guest that is so magnificent and they've traveled so far. Please help me welcome from across the pond, wife, mother, voice actor extraordinaire, and creator of the voiceover network, Rachael Naylor.
Yay!
Hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. We're so excited.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited too.
Well, I get a little excited about after I do the intro, so I'm gonna pass it on to Stephen because he's really good at, keeping everything going and asking some really good starting questions. So I'm gonna kick it over to Mr. Stephen. Mr. Stephen?
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. So lovely to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, great to see you too.
My first question to you, just to start things off, is always a great question, is where did you grow up?
So I grew up in London. I'm from London. I grew up in West London, a beautiful place called Chiswick. West London. Good old. Born in London, lived in London all my life, and I do love it here, even though it does rain a lot. But there we go.
It tends to. Did you have like other siblings? Did you grow up by yourself, or you have siblings?
So I'm the youngest of three. Yeah, so I've got an older brother and an older sister. Youngest of three, and we're all within 3 years. So my mum had a lot on her plate when we were all little. I don't know how she did it, but yeah. So
did you have? Or were your siblings creative at all?
Yes, very creative. So yeah, I come from a creative family. My grandfather was an actor. Oh. And so there's always been lots of music and theatre, and my sister is amazing at art. My brother's very good at art as well. My sister plays the piano. We're all there's a lot of creativity growing up, and I was lucky. My parents were very supportive of me going into acting. So I think most people's stories are that their parents weren't, but my parents were like, yes, do it. So that was nice. I was lucky.
That's neat.
That's awesome to have that support. That's very
cool. And I kind of think it was because my grandfather, and my dad's side of the family, there was a lot of music from his side too. So so that's nice to have that support.
That's really cool. And were you like in school? Were you like in the drama? Were you doing that sort of thing, or
yes, always. Yeah, I was always doing drama whenever I could do. Yeah, and I got into. I decided I wanted to be an actor when I was really young, and I think it's because watching my grandfather on stage, and he had the most wonderful voice as well, and seeing him on films, and he was I just thought he was incredible. And so I was really young when I decided, right, that's it, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. So then, I signed up for everything I could at school. I was in all the school plays, and then I joined a drama group when I was 11 or 12, and then started doing lots of musicals as a teenager. So I got really into doing musicals, and then did performing arts at college, and went to drama school. It was all singing, dancing, acting. It was all I was always headed in that direction.
And did you do any performances or anything with your brothers and sisters or anything like that? Did you guys do anything together?
No. I mean, we must have done, little shows as kids, like for our parents, but no, I don't remember ever.
Welcome to the big top, the Flying Nailers.
That would be.
Holy
I like that.
Jesus. How'd they do that with the piano?
That would be good. I like that. But no, I can't remember ever performing with them. No. Neither my brother or sister are into acting anymore. I mean, they did a little bit at school, but I was always the one who was like, yes, I want to be on stage and I want to be entertaining everyone and making them laugh. And that was always what I wanted to do.
Nice. And were you popular in school and making all the kids laugh and all that sort of thing? Did you enjoy
Yeah,
school?
I did. Yeah, I did. I did like making people laugh, and yeah, I think I was always getting in trouble for talking too much. That was always my thing at school. Yeah, and so I was always being like moved away. And I remember like like ballet class and any class where there were other people, I was always getting into trouble because I just wouldn't stop talking and I just wanted to talk. And every report I ever had from school says Rachel talks too much. Rachel talks too much. Rachel distracts other members of the class. If Rachel just stopped talking and got more work done. And it's so funny because I often think like I wish I could go back to those teachers and go, well, look at me now. I was actually practicing and now I earn money from talking. So yeah, I know it's funny, but I sometimes think that about kids at school, that often, you know, they have skills and they'll be told off for something that actually could be cultivated and could be, you know, wonderful if it was, you know. Often it's the naughty kids at school that are actually brilliant at being entrepreneurs or, you know, creative, and yeah, and I do, yeah, I think they need
in this industry, it's a lot of the naughty kids have made their way into the industry. I'm looking at you, and you, and especially you,
Cliff Zellman.
Cliff, Everett,
definitely, yeah,
Everett.
yeah,
We're talking to you.
definitely.
Scott Parkin.
Oh my God, Scott Parkin. I know. I feel like when we're at voiceover conferences, it's always me and Scott at the back of the room, like, you know, to like just mucking about and going in and out. And yeah, he's totally the naughty kid at school.
I can see it being like a Mystery Science 3000 type thing where they're just dubbing over the movie. Fantastic.
So you're a creative kid and you grew up and you were in school and you made people laugh and you're in drama. So how did that lead then to a career to did you first get into acting, or was it voiceover, or how did that transition kind of?
So it was acting first, and acting has always been, you know, theatre really was my first love, and doing musicals. That was what I excuse me, musicals was what I first fell in love with, and I did a lot of singing, and I've got a trained singing voice. And so that all kind of fit together with doing musicals. And then I went to drama school here in London and got really immersed in Shakespeare and Chekhov and kind of really serious drama. And I loved all that, and came out of drama school and started doing a lot of Shakespeare and lots of theatre for children and comedy and stuff. And then it was actually at drama school, I had a voice teacher who said to me at the time, I remember she said that I should look into going into voiceovers. And I remember at the time being like, what? I'm going to go and work for the National and the RSC, and I'm going to go and win an Oscar. What's this voiceover stuff? And so after a couple of years coming out of drama school, I saw an advert in a magazine it was a voiceover course. It was just a free, I think it was 2-hour voiceover workshop. And so I went along, and it was incredible. And I will never forget it. I had a moment where I went into the recording studio, and I just knew, everything in my body just knew that this was where I was meant to be. And it was such a strong feeling, and I'll never forget it. And I remember that the studio was blue, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And it was such a strong thing of like, this is where I'm meant to be. But of course it's not that simple, because then I was like, oh great, this is where I'm meant to be. Fantastic, right, get my voice film made. And that was, I'm talking like 19 years ago. 19 years ago. And the voiceover world looked very different to how it looks today. It was a totally different world, and you had to have an agent. You didn't have a home studio, and there was no, voiceover network. There were no conferences. There was no help and support. There were no podcasts,
coaching.
There was just very little information, and you just kind of, I remember just like winging it and desperately trying to like find my way into this industry, and just having doors slammed in my face constantly, and everybody saying, nope, you're not allowed. Your name's not down. You're not coming in.
It was the same way when I was doing modeling. They were just like, and I was like, plus size, hello, is this not Victoria's Secrets? We not want to move product people. I thought we use pretty people. What the hell's wrong with y'all? I feel you. I feel you on that one. Totally.
It's a struggle.
Wonderful.
He'll get over it. I promise. It happens every episode. It's fine.
Brilliant.
So, what was your first voiceover gig?
My
Can you remember?
first. Oh yeah, I remember my first one.
Oh yeah, she remembers it.
It was bad. It was really bad.
I love to hear these stories though.
Oh no, it
Oh,
was so
yeah.
bad. It was one of those. I mean, it's amazing that I'm a voiceover. You know, from that first experience, it was So it was for a company that recorded audiobooks for the blind. And so, you know, and it was free. So I wasn't actually getting paid, thankfully. Just because it was, I remember I emailed them. I was like, oh, you know, I'm a voiceover artist. Here's my voice reels. And they were like, oh, great. Yeah, sure. Come in. You can record this. It's a GCSE book of Richard III. So GCSEs is that's like how old? It's like 15, 16-year-olds. It's their exams. And so it was like a booklet all about Richard III, but it was all in kind of not, you know, it was all pretty and looked great. Anyway, they sent me this book and I got the book and I didn't prepare properly. And I turned up and I had to read it. And it was horrendous. I was nervous. I didn't know what I was doing. I kept stumbling. And then of course it's that thing, you know, as you know, you guys know, as soon as you mess up in a voiceover job, then you just, unless you take a moment, and I think that's a skill as a voiceover artist, and you get that over time, you know, things go wrong in voiceover sessions, and it's being able to bring yourself back and have that composure. But of course, the first ever voiceover job, I had no composure. And I just kept making more and more and more mistakes. I think they just said, do you know what, should we just leave it? I'm pretty sure that happened about halfway through. It was like, yeah, should we just leave it? And I was like, yeah, let's just leave it. Okay, thanks, bye. Okay, maybe I'm not made out for this job. And I remember just leaving thinking, okay, maybe voiceovers isn't for me. Maybe, you know, because I think at that point as well, my sight reading wasn't great. So and at school I was terrible at sight reading. It's hilarious. I often say to people, it's really funny that I went into voiceovers because I hated sight reading and it used to terrify me. So yes, anyway, so that was a pretty terrible first experience in voiceovers. But then I went on to have some good successes, which turned it all around.
Right. Well, I'm sure that was hard to get over and discouraging when those things start to happen.
But that's it. I think in life, you know, things aren't ever smooth, and we all have challenges, and I think often it's the challenges that when you push through them, that's the sweet spot. Does that make sense? Yeah,
I think
that's where you learn the most, for sure.
Yes.
About you and about the world, if you're willing to pay attention. But if you don't pay attention, you end up doing the same thing again.
yes, and going round and round and round and round. Yeah.
Oh, I know all about round. Me and Steven stand next to each other. We look like the number 10.
Oh, Jared.
Y'all are crazy.
Are you crazy? So you had your first experience. You weren't discouraged. You kept going on.
Yeah.
Was there a certain person or a certain figure that you looked up to that kind of like, I want to be that person, or that person helped me to kind of get to the next level of where I needed to be? I'm sure you got that one person that sticks
in
out.
Voiceovers.
Sure.
Trying to think back to one person who kind of
Or was it Rachel? Rachel, I was my own inspiration.
Oh, I don't know who inspired me. That's quite interesting. Who inspired me in voice? I mean, definitely my grandfather. I mean, he died when I was 9, so he wasn't alive then, but I was definitely inspired by him. He had a wonderful voice. My parents have inspired me because they kept saying, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, even when I just got rejected. I remember reading Joan Baker's book, Secret Success, voiceover success secrets. What's it called? You know the one.
I do, but it fell out of my brain.
It's the Joan Baker book. I remember reading that.
It'll pop up on the screen. Trust me.
Yes, that's the one.
There it is.
So Joan Baker, I love you. Joan Baker is, I love Joan, and I, she's a good friend of mine now. And I remember reading that book and being like, that really inspired me. That book definitely inspired me. Trying to think.
It's okay. It's not a hard pressed question, but just curious because some people are like, wow, yeah, this person and that person and this person.
Yeah.
Was there something that you watched as a kid, or something that kind of like inspired you to do more, or like I want to do that, or this is why I want to go in this direction because of this? I don't know. I'm just trying to see if there's any kind of big influences in your life.
Oh, I mean, I loved cartoons growing up, and I loved things like Thundercats and oh yes, yeah, Thundercats.
I don't know how you use that in the 80s. You either got into a fight or you were watching the Thundercats.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I loved Thundercats and I loved Transformers. I was a bit of a tomboy growing up. I also loved My Little Pony, and so I loved I loved cartoons, but I also used to listen to audiobooks when I was really young.
Interesting.
And it sounds quite weird. I had a robot from a very young age. My parents bought me this robot, and it had a tape player in it.
Is it Robbie the talking robot? Isn't it? It's kind of like Teddy Ruxpin, right?
Teddy Ruxpin.
Stick the little thing in his belly.
And
he would read you stories.
He looked like he had kind of these big yellow eyes. He was like proper robot looking and was on wheels and stuff. I think it was quite, back then that was quite amazing.
That's high tech stuff right there.
Yeah. And so I used to listen to audiobooks as a child. So I guess that's probably had some sort of effect on me growing up that I listened to that. I mean, I've always loved comedy and I've always loved making people laugh. And I think, growing up, I was the one in our family I was the clown. I was the one, doing, dressing up and dancing and making everyone laugh and being, silly. So, yeah.
So that gives you all the confidence to stand in front of people and speak and not have any problems.
Yeah.
Talking to people.
Yeah. I love getting on stage. I love speaking to people. I love connecting. And I think that's something that's amazing as a voiceover artist, is that we get to connect and use our gift. Because I think, we have gifts, which is our voice and which is communication and sharing that and being able to take words and interpret them like a musician does with notes on a page, and we're able to interpret them and communicate them. I think is a wonderful, amazing thing that we're able to do. And I'm so grateful to work in this beautiful industry. I mean, I love being a voiceover artist. I often, say that if, somebody had said to me as a kid, you could get paid to talk, I would have bitten their arm off. I mean, obviously there is more to being a voiceover artist than just like talking. We all know that there's a huge amount that goes on, and you have to know all the marketing and all of that, and there's a lot of skill that goes into it, and you have to be tough as well. You have to be, be able to take criticism and take direction, and interpret what directors say, which can be, quite interesting. I often say that to people coming into the industry, about understanding what a director wants and how to understand what a director wants when they don't know what they want, and they'll sort of throw strange words at you, and you have to take them and try and make sense of them.
All right, I need you to sound thinner now. Can you sound thinner? Now be a middle-aged baby. Can you be a middle-aged baby? You're stressed out from working all day.
Oh yes. And I mean, I love voiceover directors, amazing, but it's that thing, like sometimes you get, can you be happy but sad? Can you go fast but sound slow? That kind of stuff. It's great.
Right. Emphasize this word, but I don't want you to hear it. You emphasize it.
Yes, absolutely.
I got this. Perfect.
Yeah. You just go, okay, sure. All right.
go and wing it.
I know.
So my next question for you is, so tell me a little bit about how you got into Virgin Airlines and all that.
Virgin Media.
Yes.
Virgin Media. Yes, the Virgin Media job.
Virgin Media.
Yeah, so that was fairly early on in my career. And what happened was that here in the UK, we used to, as actors, we used to get this thing that would come through the post. It was called PCR. And it was a newsletter, and it would come through the post every 2 weeks, and it would have all the castings from feature films down to fringe theatre. And it was always printed on red paper. So those listening in the UK, you'll know what I'm talking about. It was printed on red paper, so you couldn't photocopy it and share it with your friends. So this, and whenever it came through, I'd always get very excited, and I'd be circling things and writing my letters and sending them off. And it came through this one day, and this is a long time ago. And I remember going through it and circling things. And then there was a company, and they were looking for Spanish-speaking voiceover artists. I don't speak Spanish.
I was going to say, you thought you were the perfect fit. You're like, I got this. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
I don't even think I could say hola back then. I am learning Spanish, people. I'm trying to learn Spanish. We've got a Spanish magazine, so I need to. But yeah, so back then, you know, so anyway, I saw this advert, voiceover Spanish speakers. I was like, okay. So I wrote to them anyway. Now, before you think I'm crazy, it did say in my letter, I've seen that you're looking for a Spanish-speaking voiceover artist. I don't speak Spanish. I did tell them that. But I said, if you're, you know, ever looking for an English-speaking voiceover artist, you know, here's my voice reel, and I sent them my CD, and you know, let me know. Anyway, it just so happened that it landed on the desk the day they were casting for the voice of Virgin Media. So that's a real lesson for you guys. Like, you just never know. Like, just always keep sending your stuff out. So anyway, they called me up and they brought me in. And it was one of my first kind of big auditions. And I went in and I was like, oh, just like terrified. Did the audition. And then, yeah, I remember getting the phone call. I was in the gym and getting the phone call saying, you got the role. You are now the voice of Virgin Media. And I was like, yay! I have no idea what that means, but it sounds great. And then from there, I became the voice of Virgin Media, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Business. And I recorded every week for 13 years for them. Yeah. Yeah.
Look at Jared's face. He was just like,
that is some really impressive stuff. Right there. You just put that in the pot and just stir that up right there. You put it in, swallow that, people.
Yeah. And I mean, I tell that story because I think it's a really important story, that you just never know where these amazing opportunities are going to come from. And you have to throw your hat in the ring. You have to go out there. You have to reach out to these people and you just never know when your email is going to arrive the day that they're going to need your voice. But the Virgin Media thing, I've got a kind of funny story about that. So I decided for a long time that I wouldn't get Virgin Media because I thought it would just be weird. If I had Virgin Media and I phoned up and I had a problem, like I'd have to listen to myself and it would be really irritating. And I just thought that would just be weird. So I didn't sign up with Virgin for a long time. And then it got to the point a few years ago, and I was with Sky here in the UK, so that's the other kind of provider of broadband and TV and phone and stuff. Anyway, I was having problems with Sky, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to sign up with Virgin. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So I signed up with Virgin Media, and I kind of describe it as a bit of a Twilight Zone moment. So I sat on a train. It was a hot day, absolutely packed train, Waterloo Station, like people are all, I managed to get a seat. I'm sat there, oh gosh, you know, it's been a busy day. My phone rang and I answered my phone and it was myself calling me, telling me about the installation. I swear I completely freaked out. So
you're like, what is happening here?
Like,
what is happening?
And I just like put the phone down. I was like, weird to have yourself call yourself. It did. It felt like a Twilight moment. But yeah, and then I was like, put the phone down. I was like, I needed to know what was in that message.
What did I say? What did I just say?
Think back to recording it.
Like,
back to recording.
Rachel,
what was the next prompt?
could you call me back? Could you call me back, Rachel? Could you call me back, please? I need to know what you had to say.
But it is, yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's a weird moment.
It is a strange one, and I do still find, sometimes I call people's mobiles and it's me on their answer phone. Even voiceover artists. I got a friend of mine, she's a voiceover artist. I'm like, get me off your voicemail.
She's like, I like yours better. It's so much better than mine. So much better.
So funny. So, but yeah. It was a great job. I still work for them, not very much now, because they did that wonderful thing where I went in and I recorded every word, and now they just all together. Yeah.
Oh God.
Bleep, bleep, bleep.
Yeah.
I have a question that I would like to ask you.
Ooh, yes, please.
How hard is it to run a publication in the digital age?
Oh,
bam, bam, bam.
Well.
You dropped the bomb on me.
Here comes the voiceover network.
That's it. So the Buzz magazine, which is the only magazine in the world dedicated to the voiceover industry. In fact, look at that. Wait a minute. I might have one to hand. There we go.
You heard it here, folks. Catch the buzz.
The Buzz magazine. So the idea for the Buzz magazine came before the voiceover network, actually, and I just I got into I started researching PRing myself as a voiceover business, and I signed up to this online course, and I ended up doing this course, and then I got myself in the local newspaper, and then I got myself in a couple of quite big magazines here in the UK. One of them was called In Style, and it's seen by 3 million people in London. And I was like, oh, this is great. Right, okay, I'm like, let's get some more of this. And I was looking around thinking, right, there must be a voiceover magazine, right? And I was like, why? Wait a minute, there isn't a voiceover magazine. Every industry has a magazine. Why doesn't the voiceover industry have a magazine? And so that was when I first was like, right, I think I should start a magazine. And I went for a coffee with a friend of mine who worked in PR at the time. And I remember just being like, I was so excited. And I went and I was like, I've got this great idea. I'm going to start a magazine. And then she did that, wonderful thing that some people do. And she went, pop, burst that bubble, pop, burst that bubble, pop. And she was like, it's going to be a nightmare. It'll take over your life. It'll be really hard work. You'll have to get rid of loads of staff. It'll just drain you. And I came out of that meeting going, oh, maybe I won't do that. So then it was a couple of years later when the voiceover network I'd started this little meetup group with a few other voiceover artists, and we went to the pub, and I was like, this is really useful, we should do this more often, and so it became a monthly meetup group, and it just snowballed, and people from other parts of London started coming, and then I made it central London, and I started getting agents and producers to come along, and then it was end of 2014. And 2014 in the voiceover world was a really interesting year. It was like the Wild West, and suddenly it was that thing that suddenly the cat was out of the bag. Suddenly, from an industry that had been like, shh, don't tell anybody. This is great. We don't want anyone coming in. The cat was out of the bag, and all these people suddenly came flooding into the voiceover industry. With social media, it meant that you could find your own clients, pay-to-play sites. That was the year that we started finding out that they were misbehaving. And so there were lots of people coming into the industry, and home studio, you could get a home studio. Suddenly it was really affordable. So people coming into the industry, people in the industry getting very cross, like, get off my land. And, there was all that kind of,
get out of my yard, you son of a bitch.
That was going on, and I could see it. I could see it happening in these Facebook groups, people being vile to each other, and there was some really nasty attacking going on, and people getting angry with people for lowballing. And so I looked at all of this, and I thought, look, I could carry on bumbling along, doing my thing, and staying, keeping my head, down, and just staying in the pack, or I could stand up and try and make a difference. And so I was working with a great mentor at the time who helped to encourage me, and I decided to do my crazy thing and launch the Voiceover Network as a membership organization in order to help support and strengthen the voiceover industry. And so I did that at the beginning of 2015. And what I wanted to do, and it was create a safe place for voiceover professionals to come together, to help and support each other, to learn, and to raise the bar in the industry and strengthen it. And I really believe in community. I believe in people coming together. I believe in connection. And I think that what was happening, that people weren't feeling connected. And so they were ending up on things like Fiverr. Whereas if you bring people in and they feel like they're part of something, they feel like they're part of a community, they're more likely to want to keep their rates high and preserve what we've got. So that was kind of the thought behind the voiceover network. And so when I was thinking about launching it, I was thinking, right, I'm going to do a membership organization. There's going to be, online resources. We're going to do webinars. We're going to do events. We'll do training. And we could do a newsletter, which could kind of be a bit like a magazine. Yeah, it won't be that much. All I have to do is like ask some people to write some stuff. I'll get a designer to put it together. We'll get it printed. Simple, right? Simple. So that's how the Buzz magazine started. I remember the first edition. I think the first edition, it was like tiny. Still, I think there's like, I've got one first edition, which is worth about £1 million.
Last time I checked, I believe it was going for £2.5 million.
There we go. That sounds about right.
Know your worth, people.
Yeah, that's it. If you've got one of those, put it in your safe. So yes. So then, so that was how the Buzz magazine came to be. And it's now a full-on magazine. It's full of like amazing articles. And I'm so grateful for everybody who contributes. And we have, lots going on, and there's lots of great information and inspiring stories. And so it's a quarterly magazine, and it's available in print and online. And it's available in English and in Spanish. So there we go.
Perfect. For the Latin
promo
community.
We're going to promo you at the end too.
Okay,
we're
nice.
going to do like little flashy things and all. We're going to promo out of it.
Awesome.
So anything else you want to add to someone that might be starting out in doing voiceover? Any tips, tricks, run away, anything you want to say to the people?
Away!
Oh yes, quick, run like the wind. No, the voiceover industry is amazing. It's a wonderful, wonderful industry, and I feel so blessed to be part of this industry. And every time I get a job, I feel incredibly grateful. And I have days when I literally I can't believe someone's paying me to do this. This is just the best. But it's not an easy career. It is not a quick buck career. It is tough. You have to be thick-skinned. You have to be determined. You have to really, really want it. And it's a marathon. It is a business. So when you become a voiceover artist, you are starting a voiceover business. And I think that's really important for people to understand coming into it. Yes, the creativity is important, but if you can't, you need to go out and get clients. So that's really important. And I think training. Do your training before, please, if you're coming into the industry, do not go and get a voice reel made. Because I think that's a mistake that so many people make. And voice reel, lots of voice reel producers out there, they will take your money and they will make a reel and they will make you sound fantastic, which is great. But you may not be able to recreate that sound. And then when you get in the booth in front of a producer, a director who's paying for the time, for that studio, for the sound engineer, and you can't reproduce the sound that's on your reel, it's a bad scene. So the most important thing is training. So you want to invest in training. There are lots of courses. There are lots of online courses. The Voiceover Network do some, so but there are lots of other people do great online courses and voiceover coaches. And there's also lots of free information out there. There are webinars. There's podcasts. The Voiceover Hour podcast. I know, look at me plugging. Sorry guys, but you've got to do it.
This is why you're here.
There we go. So there are webinars, there are books, there are tons of amazing books. Joan Baker's book, Celia Siegel has a great book.
She's awesome.
Love Celia. Elaine Clark has an amazing book as well. So there's lots of information out there. And I think first of all, it's training, it's learning, and it's networking. So connect with other voiceover artists and be kind and that's really important. So I think training, networking, and then you want to do your voice reel. and then you get a website done, and then you start going out there and trying to get work. So that's my advice.
That's a good advice too. That was my shell shock. I was like, hold on, you have to know things? What kind of crap is this? Yeah, hold on, whoa. You want me to do math? Edit audio? Who the hell is audio? I don't even know where to hunt for tacos, you ridiculous. Well, I've had a fantastic, I'm going to ask you a question that I like to ask everyone pretty much. Yes. Is you travel quite a bit and sometimes you're away from home. What is the food or drink that really makes you like you can get wherever you're at, or that can just remind you of home or makes you just feel a little bit better? Your comfort food.
Oh, comfort food.
Mine's whiskey.
Whiskey's a good one.
I feel awfully comfortable.
Lemoncello. People who, voiceover network members will all know, and most people who know me know that I'm a big fan of Lemoncello. It's kind of part of my branding. It's quite funny. There's a whole story that goes with that. If you've got time, I can quickly tell you about my Lemoncello story.
We've got time for a cello.
Do you want the Lemoncello?
We want the lemon.
I'll tell you the Lemoncello. The Lemoncello story is really funny. So before the voiceover network was the membership organization that it is now, as I said, it was just a let's go to the pub and have a few drinks. And I decided that I wanted to get agents and producers and casting directors involved, and I wanted to make it a better networking environment, because it was great kind of everybody getting drunk and having a laugh, but I just thought, like, let's raise the bar and let's get casting directors, agents and producers to come along to our events. So I remember thinking, well, how do we do that? How do we get them to come to our events? And I thought, right, free stuff. So we had our first summer party in 2014 in London. It was at this beautiful place called Envy Post Production, and there's a gorgeous roof terrace looking out over London. And so I decided that I would charge people for tickets, and we would provide food and drinks and entertainment, and then we could get the casting directors, agents, producers to come along and give them free stuff. But this was the first time that I was charging, and I remember, I was charging £50 a ticket, which at the time I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. And lots of people, bought tickets, and it was an amazing evening. Anyway, but beforehand, I organized, we had a magician coming, and there was going to be, there was a barbecue, and just a stunning venue. And I had that moment that lots of us have, where, like how you have like a good devil and a bad devil on your shoulder. And the good devil's going, yeah, it's going to be great. Everyone's going to have a fun time. It's going to be fantastic. And then the bad devil just kind of got quite loud and went, what if it's rubbish? What if everybody hates it and it's really, really boring? And I was like, oh no, what do I do if it's really boring? Okay, I'll get them drunk. I'm not kidding you. This is
Plan B.
This is the thought process that I went through.
Business plans, people.
There we go. So I was like, okay, I'll get them drunk. What can I give them? What can I give people that's not too harsh? And I was thinking tequila, that's a bit too much, isn't it? Sambuca, no, that's too much. And I think I'd recently been to Italy, and I was like, what about Lemoncello? Because Lemoncello is a lovely kind of, it's an Italian aperitif. So you have it after your meal. A lot of the time in proper Italian restaurants, they'll give it to you for free at the end of a meal. Right. And it's always like, wow, when you get a free Lemoncello, you feel, you leave the restaurant going, I like those people. That's really nice that they gave me a free Lemoncello. Wow, I'm going to come back. So I got a couple of bottles of Lemoncello. And anyway, the night was a huge success. It wasn't boring at all. Everybody had a great time. But I got the Lemoncello out because I thought, well, I've got it. I was like, I said to the barman, I said, right, just fill up some trays and let's give out this Lemoncello. And people went bananas for it. I mean, honestly, social media was full of pictures and posts all about the Lemoncello. Which was just really funny. And so that was how it started. And literally every single voiceover network event we have, there is always Lemoncello time, and it's normally about 9:30 in the evening, and it's just a funny thing. It's like suddenly I bring out this bottle and I'm like, Lemoncello time, and everyone, you know, laughs, and you know, we can get out the little glasses and we go around, and everyone, and some people love it, some people absolutely hate it, because you know, it's one of those kind of love or hate things. But there we go. So that's my Lemoncello story.
It's a great story.
The powers and magic of alcohol, people.
There we go. So yes, but that wasn't really food. I mean, yeah.
Oh no, hey, comfort is comfort.
Comfort, yes.
Alcohol is the social lubricant, you know? It just helps things mix really well.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah. Well, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed you being on the show. Stephen, you have any more questions before I let her promo the promo out of us?
I'm going to let her promo the promo out of us.
Rachel, please let everyone know whatever resources, whatever you want. This is your time to shine. Let them know.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Well, so to start with, yeah, it's Rachael Naylor. So do find me on social media. I love it when people follow me. So yeah, Rachael.Naylor on Instagram and Rachael Naylor on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook and everything. So do connect with me. The Voiceover Network. So the Voiceover Network is about helping, supporting and strengthening the voiceover industry. And that drives everything we do. We run events, we run training, we run the magazine, the Buzz magazine. There's lots of online resources. And we really work hard to kind of bring everybody together. It's a global organization. So we have members based all around the world, and members are all the way from super experienced, you know, some of the most experienced voiceover professionals in our industry to people just starting out. Which is wonderful. And we also have agents, producers and casting directors who are members of the Voiceover Network as well. So we do have lots going on. Please do go to our website, thevoiceovernetwork.co.uk, and check out some of the things. We've got stuff on our events page. We have lots of workshops, amazing workshops with some of the most incredible teachers, casting directors, agents, producers. So do check out what we've got going on. We also have the Voiceover Hour podcast. So you can find that on our website. We've got some amazing interviews on there. And we do a live webinar once a week on a Wednesday as well. So the Voiceover Hour live webinar. So you can find all that information on our website, and do come along to one of the live webinars. They're great fun. You get to ask questions. And again, I interview some really phenomenal guests. So yes. So that is the Voiceover Network. And as part of that, you get subscription to the Buzz magazine. You can subscribe to the Buzz magazine on its own if you did just want to subscribe to that. And again, you can find that on the Voiceover Network.co.uk website. And we're on social media, so you can find us all over the web as well.
Well, as a side note, I just wanted to say that, you know, I attended Get Your Game On with you, and I thought that was really amazing. I mean, I've been to a lot of these things, and I learned a lot there. I mean, you know, I was a vendor there, but you know, just listening to everybody talking, the people, the level of the people that you had there was amazing, and I got a whole lot out of that. It was incredible. So don't miss out on whatever she puts together. Make sure you attend.
Yay. And Get Your Game On, guys. So Get Your Game On is our video game conference. So it's a voiceover conference focused on promoting great voice acting in video games. So
Motion
yeah,
capture,
really
the whole thing. It was
great. So we get in amazing speakers, and we do a voiceover jam, and there's workshops, and so it's been running in London for the last 4 years, and then we did it in LA in beginning of 2020, which was just before the world kind of imploded, but it was like the last event to end all events. But hopefully we'll be back as soon as we can, doing Get Your Game On in person in London and LA, and maybe somewhere else. We'll see.
You never know. That was incredible.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for joining us today. It was awesome.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful.
It's been a mighty fun time.
It sure has. Now we got to go back to our regular lives.
Well, everybody, I guess that wraps up another episode of VO in Stereo. As always, I'm your host, Jared Breshers, with
Stephen Coghill.
And thank you so much one more time, Miss Rachael Naylor.
Oh, thank you.
You guys get in contact. Let's do this. Let's grow. Let's grow. It's growing time.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
Everyone.
Thank you.
We'll see you later. See you on the next one.